Well, hello. This is Dr. Ayleen, and this is Medicine Walk. And for those of you who are listening in on Blog Talk Radio, this is Healing House Radio. So I hope everyone had a wonderful week, had a wonderful holiday. It always feels weird having Monday off and then going into Tuesday. I actually set an alarm on my phone that goes off on Monday night saying, tomorrow is Tuesday, which it may sound odd, but it helps me to remember because, you wake up that morning, okay, first day of the week, first day of work. So anyway, either way, I hope that everyone had a wonderful time and a wonderful, restful time off. If you didn't get the day off, then I hope that working was gentle for you. So, as we finish up this month's topic on defenses, I just want to kind of do a recap and have a little bit of a discussion on some of the high points that I felt were important in this discussion, because it is an important discussion. It is about holding our space. It is about being in our power while at the same time being able to be in balance. And, being in your power doesn't mean power over anyone else. It means that you are in your own eye of the storm. It means that you have choice. When you're on defensive mode, choice has a tendency to disappear. When we feel threatened, sometimes choice can, be pushed aside by instinct. And if we believe that somebody is directing, hard energy or negative energy at us, then yeah, you kind of go into a defensive mode, but that doesn't mean you're vulnerable. It doesn't mean that somebody can do something to you, necessarily without your being willing to participate. So I really want to talk a little bit more about that aspect of empowerment, personal empowerment. We cannot control the actions, thoughts, or inclinations of others, but we can control how we respond to it. And it's interesting because this past week I've had some cases where not so much that someone was directing negative energy at me, but they were projecting. And it is sort of, kind of a work to be able to not take it that personally. My recent tweet about gossip being, and gossip is in a way, sort of a projection. And depending on, the intensity level and how wound up they get, it can manifest into energy being directed. The idea of gossip being, well, it was a saying that I heard when I was young, that it's making someone who is not a part of the solution a part of the problem. And, people are going to talk about people. People are going to judge, be jealous, be resentful, whatever. There's a lot of hard energy that goes around, and, no matter how nice you are, no matter how nice you try to be, at some point, somebody is going to react badly to either something you say, something you do. So it's important to know who you are. And that is critical in any type of energetic work, especially energetic defense. Know who you are. Because if you know who you are, if you know yourself, if somebody is, projecting something at you, to make you either weaker or to feel bad or to not be successful or, to increase the challenges against you, okay, they can take their shot. And you are stronger than that. When you know who you are, you don't worry about what others want to, push onto you. You don't worry about, what people are saying about you. And there's a saying that, what other people say about me is none of my business. I don't quite agree with that. I do believe it's your business, and I believe it's your choice as to what you want to do with it. Sometimes it's just about ignoring, and that is the vast majority of it's like, what, whatever. When it becomes personal, then we have to figure out what we want to do with it. Because more than likely at that point, it's, hitting some internal stuff. And, and that is a part of feeling we have to defend ourselves, is when we start feeling, that those little pieces of our wall are being chipped away at, or we're not feeling safe, or maybe it's coming from someone who you trusted or believed you could trust, and then all of a sudden, you're seeing a whole different side of them. Whatever the source, whatever the reason, it really does come down to, do you know who you are? Do you know your strength? Do you know that you're connected to all of creation? Do you know that you are worthwhile? Do you know that you matter? Do you know that you're important? Because if you know all these things, then there's nothing anyone can do to you, because your defenses are solid. Mainly because you know full well that whatever is projected against you is going against the whole universe, or an aspect of the universe. It is not in alignment with the flow, and that which does not align with the flow ultimately gets swept away. We talked about a lot of, certain basic defensive types of things that you could do. The mirror and the candle and the glass, that is for space. If you want to make sure that a space is nice and clear and that there's no negative energy. And, I'm not saying that there's no negative energy out there. There is. I have worked with it. Yes, there is. And the vast majority of what people believe that they're projecting is only their own fear. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, that's at the heart of it. They're afraid. They're afraid that they cannot measure up. Maybe, they feel intimidated by you. Maybe you have something that they want, and they can't have the faith in themselves that they could achieve it on their own. So, yeah, it is mostly fear. It's mostly a lack of self-worth on their part. So, be able to know who you are. And if you're not sure, if you're feeling insecure about who you are, there's absolutely, it's more important to honestly be able to say, hey, I'm not sure who I am. I'm not sure if I'm strong enough. Because the thing is, that's not a fake it till you make it type of situation. Knowing who you are is not fake it till you make it. Knowing who you are is, okay, I need to work on this because this is important. I need to know who I am because that's who I am presenting to the world. To be able to be in integrity with yourself. So if you are coming from a place of integrity, if you know your own light and your own shadow, then nobody can use your shadow against you. And I've mentioned before that when these sorts of energies come in, they cannot attach to or affect your light, but they will go after your shadow. They go after your insecurities. They go after, that place where, maybe you're not so sure about yourself, or, where you feel guilty about something, or where you feel weak in an area. You're not weak. Maybe, you could hone your skills some more in a particular area. But it's not about you being weak. So if you can acknowledge and own your insecurities, then you don't have to worry about what someone else does. You don't have to worry about someone else calling out an insecurity when you already know it's there. I have always been short, and, granted, Lord of the Rings made being short very cool, but the idea that, I used to get teased when I was younger because I was shorter than everybody else. So I figured out ways to kind of offset that. I would joke, well, I get rained on last. And it may sound silly, but, it would kind of take people aback, or, other kids. Oh, well, yeah. And so, the idea of creating ways to reduce it, but, I did know that I was physically short. Whatever it is, whether it's how short you are, how tall you are, how much you weigh, how much money you make, what you do for a living, what kind of car you drive, all of those things are things that we can change. And wherever you're at right at that moment, that's fine. When you can accept yourself, to know yourself, to embrace yourself, to love yourself, to be able to say, well, I'm not a completed work of art yet, but I'm pretty good, and every day I'm getting closer to it. No one can make you feel weak if you understand deep down the times that you do feel that. And that there's a lot of times you're strong. And there's a lot of times that, you're successful. And there's a lot of times that you are loved and supported. As long as that energy cannot latch on to the things that we try to say to ourselves that we don't believe, then it can't affect you. It can't hurt you, because there's nothing for it to get a hold of. And if you can be able to accept and love yourself, and to know yourself, to know how truly powerful you are, and each and every day you're becoming more powerful. And that happens just because you're having life experiences. Life makes us more powerful because we become stronger. Even the lousy stuff that happens makes us stronger. The old saying, that which does not kill me makes me stronger. And when we have to face those things within ourselves, when we have to face our own shadow, then we become stronger. We understand it. And that way no one can use it against us. We don't have to be insecure. We don't have to be afraid. We don't have to hide things. The false sense of bravado. When you're scared, be scared. Admit it. Own it. If you're angry, be angry. Own it. And just know that that is something that you are moving through. It's not where you're stopping. It's a part of life. We evolve. We're constantly evolving. And those who embrace the fact that they're going to change, that they're not the person they were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or even 1 year ago. Because we have new perspectives every day when we experience new things. And by keeping that enthusiasm for evolving, for changing, for growing, if you know that you're growing constantly, then people can't put doubt into you. They can't play on, well, you're going to be stuck there, because you know that you're not. They cannot make you believe that, you're never going to find love, because everything changes. And there's always a possibility of finding love. So the idea that, of what they feel they have the power to influence, honestly, it's really nothing. Because you have choice. You have always had choice, and you always will. Not in what they do, but you have choice in how you respond to it. You don't have to, pretend like, you're powerful, because you are. That's the bottom line, is you are. But do you know it? You don't have to pretend that you have defenses, because you do. It's a part of you. It's a natural part of you. If people are trying to take away your power, Don't let them. If people are trying to make you doubt yourself, know your truth. If people are trying to make you, feel that you are less than they are, or they want to try to intimidate you, or, they've got interesting stories about places they've been and things they've done, okay, it's an interesting story. But that doesn't change the truth that they're just another person in this world trying to do the best that they can with what they have. And if they're going in that direction, yeah, they're not doing as well as they could. Or maybe they'll learn, but that's not for you to deal with that. What is yours is knowing that you are special, that you are amazing, that you are protected. We all have guardians and guides that watch over us. And yeah, sometimes, we end up getting ourselves into a mess, and they let us. Because of the fact that it's like, well, maybe they just needed to learn from that, from cleaning up their own mess. But when it comes to having things directed at you, no. They're going to watch out for you. They're going to help you. You just have to realize that they're there. You just have to acknowledge that they are there to add their strength to yours. It doesn't matter how, what type of person wants to direct something at you. Energy is energy. Bottom line. And what happens when that energy comes into your field is up to you to decide what you want to do with it. Some people they're not, malevolent or anything. They're just jerks. And don't give anybody more power than they deserve. Don't give anybody the idea that it's like, oh, well, they have this and they have that and, and they do weird stuff or whatever. Don't invest in it. Don't add to that. Their power is dependent on your belief system. If you accept and know the truth that they're just another person out there in the world trying to figure it out, then you go a long way in taking their power away. You have to be willing to buy into the fact that they can hurt you or they can affect you. And you don't have to. Be in your place. Be in your center. You're a really good person. Of course you've made mistakes. We all have. And, the whole idea of, well, karma, I think that, well, my saying is that God grades on a curve, or creator, or however you envision that. The universe grades on a curve. And, our actions, yes, they lead to consequences. Every action has a consequence. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So, if you're willing to live with the consequences of what you do, then, okay, go for it. And if people, the people who intentionally try to disrupt the lives of others, first off, it means that their lives have to be pretty limited if they want to put that much energy in mucking with another person rather than putting that energy into making their own lives better. So, don't be that impressed. Don't be that intimidated. In fact, don't be intimidated at all. Know yourself. Know your truth. Know what you do and who you are. Because that's pretty special. You are the only you in the universe. So do you honestly think that the universe will agree to let somebody else muck with you? Nope. Not unless you agree to it. You've got to buy into it. And if you do feel that, there is something that is there, that there's something a little bit, not okay in the energy around you, then there are ways to clear it. And, you can go back over the videos because we talked about several. We talked about picturing, that egg that goes out and around you. Picture that protection. Picture your guardians. coming in and clearing things out. If you really, really feel that, there's something that needs realigning, there's something that needs to be corrected, because look at it as a correction. Something is not in balance and it needs to be corrected. So if you can hold on to it from that point of view, then it doesn't add that scary energy to it. It is something that has gone out of alignment that needs to be realigned. And they cannot put anything into your field that you choose for it to not be there. You have the ability to say what happens in your energetic field. Now, do bad things happen? Yes. Are those bad things because somebody else decided they wanted to, throw some sort of whammy on you? Probably not. I don't believe they have that power. Not unless you give it to them. So make sure that you know who you are. Because who you are is a powerful aspect of this universe. It is a powerful aspect of creation. It is a sacred aspect of this creation. And you don't need to surrender your power, your authority, your love, your sense of safety, your sense of yourself to anyone. If they're doing it, believe me, there is in that rebalancing process, energy goes back. So, don't worry about it. If it's something that feels really wrong, get help. Ask for help. You can get advice from someone who, don't Google it or Yelp it or ask on Facebook, hey, I've got this energy problem, because you'll get a lot of stuff coming in. But, talk to people. If you follow a particular religion, talk to the people involved in that. If there's someone who does energetic healing, talk to them. And always know that you have choice. Always know that you have the ability to decide how you want to handle this. Up to and including just saying, you know what, I'm just bouncing it back. It's done. I don't care. You're powerful. Always remember that. And if somebody is misguided enough to think that they can go against the flow of the universe, which, flows towards balance, it is the instinct. The body goes into many different functions in order to maintain homeostasis. That is an orderly thing. It is the system running properly. In nature, everything ends up flowing back into balance. Even when something, a huge natural event happens, eventually everything levels off again. So in nature, in our bodies, the inclination is towards balance and restoring balance. They're going against it. And yeah, there's a price that you pay for doing that. But that's not for you to worry about. So just be you. Know your strength. Know who you are. Know your those places where you're not so strong. Take ownership of them. It's okay. Don't pretend to be anything, because what you are is pretty special. You don't have to pretend to be anything more special. You don't have to pretend to be confident or whatever. You just be you. Embrace your humanity and both your light and your shadow. And if you can do that, then you can be able to manage and stand up against whatever it is that anybody wants to direct against you. You got this. If you need help, ask for it. If you're not sure, ask. But you've got a pretty good handle on it. And those beings that are looking out for you, that are watching out for you, they've got a handle on it too. Trust. Go with your faith. Go with whatever form of spirituality or whatever your relationship with the universe is. If there's something that's worrying you, ask for help. It's okay. You can ask the universe for help at any point, and in one way or another, there will be a response. Either you are going to go through something that's going to make you stronger for you to learn from, or, you'll get, things will shift and everything will change. But trust in yourself. Trust in your strength. Trust in your power. And make sure that you're being authentic. Be honest. Know your light and shadow. So, thank you for joining me, and thank you for joining me on this topic. Next week we will start a new topic, and I'm kind of tossing up between a couple of options. So I will have it cleared up, and you will see it next week. If you would like to support the channel, which I hope you do, you can hit like, and you can also subscribe, because it's always nice to, when the community gets added to. And the whole idea is to create a community and a collective of folks who, want to learn more, want to be more, want to tap into those things. All of these are introductions, and the idea is for you to take that idea and run with it and find your own way. And I'd love to hear about your way. The things I share are based on my way. And if they resonate, great. If they don't, well, great too. Find your own way. If you would like to support this channel on a bigger level, then in the Facebook description, and I believe in the Blog Talk Radio description, is my Patreon account. So you can go and, for as little as $2 a month, you can be able to help me to improve, different things about the channel and some of the technical stuff, and to, learn more editing and things like that. So you can go to Patreon, and you can be able to look at those, and then at each level there are perks that go to those who become sponsors. For those of you who are listening in on Blog Talk Radio, I encourage you to go and see the YouTube video if you can. And if you have questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section, and I will answer those. And as always, I have been in the chat room and during the broadcast, only for the premiere. So if you have questions or comments after that, please leave them in the comment section, and I will answer them for you. If you have a particular topic that you would like me to address, let's see, we've completed May, so June, July, December, we've got 7 more topics that we're going to be covering. If you would like a particular topic to be covered, let me know. You can also reach me through Twitter, and the link for that is in the description, as well as the Facebook group Medicine Walk with Dr. Ayleen. So, thank you. Thank you for sharing this journey. Thank you for your input. And as always, I wish you balance, and I wish you blessings from my heart to yours. Love you, and class dismissed.